Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Crowd Chatter podcast. And today we have another video. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different than most. As you can tell, I am not in the office like I normally am. I'm actually recording. Oh, you don't need to know where I'm recording, but I'm not in the office today. My mom is currently working, and so I don't have the office available. And it's a little loud in the kitchen, so I really don't feel like going in there. So we're going to be doing the video in here, which is, I know it's different than probably most of you are used to. Um, but we're just gonna get this one started. So today is our week 6 college football picks. Now I do have everybody's, so I will be able to put all of ours in, and I'll be able to do that for all you guys. But of course, as always, we normally start with our shockers of the week for our. We normally start with shockers of the week for, um, you know, for the picks. We always start with shockers of the week, and my shocker this week, I'll just start with my own, and that is Temple over UTSA. UTSA is at home for this game. I'm sorry, Temple is at home for this game. And Temple really, well, I mean, Temple's not a great team, but I like Temple more than I do UTSA. The Roadrunners have not been very special this year. And then Temple is a 13.5 point underdog. So, it's definitely one that I don't mind going for and, taking a chance on, see what happens. Next, I'll do Sorbensky's pick, and he is going to a Maction game. He's got Bowling Green over Miami, Ohio. Truthfully, I have no idea who's the home team, so I'll just put those two teams down. But he has Bowling Green. But he has Bowling Green taking the win as they are a 10.5 point underdog against Miami, Ohio. I honestly have no idea who the home team is, so. Um, I'm just gonna put the two teams down, and I'll just put an arrow and say that's the one he's picking because I really have no idea who's home and who's road for that game. Szymanski has yet to get any points this year on Shockers, as he has yet to convert. Hopefully this one will be his first. As he is still searching for one. Maybe he'll get lucky with this one. But next we have Sam, and if you've been watching all year, you would know that Sam has been absolutely dynamite with Shockers this season. Sam has been unbelievable as he got yet another one last week when he got the comeback of he got Baylor's comeback over UCF. Quite the game that was. As Baylor came back from down 25 in just one quarter, in the fourth quarter, and ended up winning that game miraculously. I still have no idea how on earth that was even possible. But Sam's shocker this week is actually one of the games that we have in this actual week of picks. As you don't have to, as you can, as you don't have to always pick a shocker from the games that are in the very week of football. You can, in our very week of picks, you can pick anybody, as me and Cervensky did. But Sam has Maryland over Ohio State. The Buckeyes have looked okay to start the season. Maryland is certainly a good offensive team. It could be an interesting game, but I don't know about. I mean, if he ends up getting that tune and gets another 20 points, I will be irritated. Anyways, let's get on to our actual picks of the week. I have yet to update the actual overall records. I do have everything recorded for last week. I haven't updated this yet. I'm behind a little bit of some stuff right now, so I'm trying to catch up right now. So I'm trying to catch up and bring that stuff back up to date. So far, I have yet to do that, though. So first here we have the Oregon State Beavers going on the road to take on the Cal Golden Bears. Um, yeah. This is an easy pick for me. Cal isn't as bad, I think, as previous years, but this is still not a good team. Oregon State all the way. I'm pretty sure that's both the pick for Sam and for Stravinsky. Yes, and yes, that is the pick for the both of them. Um, and I'll just kind of, since I'm gonna be on Sam, I'll just go from Sam back to me. I kind of go like snake style. So the next game on here we have TCU going on the road to take on Iowa State, and Sam's pick is TCU. He has the Horned Frogs getting the win over Iowa State. If I'm correct, I think Stravinsky has Iowa State. Yes, he does. So Stravinsky going with the Cyclones at home over the Horned Frogs. Then there's my pick. I have TCU. Iowa State is got some issues within the program. All the betting stuff, obviously, is what I'm referencing. Um, Also, Iowa State didn't even beat Ohio. Yeah, there was a little bit of there was obviously some controversy in that game, but Iowa State's not a good team. TCU at least has something. I got Horned Frogs in this one. I am much more confident in TCU than I am Iowa State. So give me TCU for the win. Next up, we have Kansas State going on the road to take on Oklahoma State. The Sooners, or not Sooners, the Cowboys just have nothing left. I mean, they got smashed at home by South Alabama 33-6. That alone tells me how bad this Oklahoma State team is. And Kansas State, they did lose on the road to Missouri, but Missouri looks like a really good team right now. And I mean, it's Kansas State. They're way better than Oklahoma State. Give me the Wildcats. Uh, pretty pretty big in this one. And then for Sam and Zerbensky, yeah, both of their picks are Kansas State. I figured as much. And so as I said, we'll go like snake style. So next we have Wake Forest going on the road to take on the Clemson Tigers. And we're starting with Sam here, and Sam's pick is Clemson, and as also Stravinsky's pick, they both have the Clemson Tigers, and that will mean that we all shall have a Clemson sweep because I am also taking the Tigers. Wake Forest doesn't have Sam Hartman anymore, and their overall, if you look at the games that they have played and how they've looked, they haven't necessarily been all that special. So I'm not enthused by taking uh, Wake Forest at all. Um, and so even though Clemson hasn't been as sharp as people would have hoped, Wake Forest doesn't look very impressive either. So I'll go with Wake. I'm sorry, I'll go with the Tigers getting the win. Next, we have Purdue going on the road to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. I switched the color scheme here so it wasn't black on black. But Purdue's a mess outside of Hudson Card. There's nothing else in that on that team. It looks like Hudson Card does look like a solid player, but the rest of Purdue's team is just all over the place. Their defense is terrible, and Hudson Card is trying to carry that offense to victory, and that's not going to work every single week. They need something else. And with Iowa getting the win last week against Michigan State, they need to keep winning to keep themselves in the Big Ten race to stay with Wisconsin, who is their main competition at the moment. I got Hawkeyes winning kind of like, something like 23 3-3 maybe, or 19-3, something like that. They're not going to score a ton of points, but Purdue certainly isn't scoring anything either. That's just the way Iowa plays. So give me Hawkeyes. Picks for Sam and Srebensky. Yeah, both are taking the Iowa Hawkeyes. I don't think that's much of a surprise. Next, we have Texas Tech going on the road to take on the Baylor Bears. And now, as I go to Sam, his pick for this game, no, that's Srebensky's. His pick is Baylor. He has the Baylor Bears getting the win at home over Texas Tech. And then Srebensky also has Baylor. He has the Bears getting the win. And then for me, this is anybody's game. I'm not really so sure who's going to win this. I'm gonna go ahead. I kind of just borderline, just kind of flip a coin. I'll go with Baylor too. They're the home team. Might as well, because I don't really know who else to take. But yeah, I'll take the Bears. Everybody else is. I'll take them too. They're home, so who knows. Then we have Nebraska going on the road to take on Illinois. Both of these teams are bad offenses with great defense, with good defenses. Illinois' offense, though, to me, is a bit better, is better than Nebraska's, because Nebraska's really is bad. Illinois has shown a little bit of some promise. Just obviously it's not good either. Both of these teams are pretty bad. I got Illinois getting the win at home. And we have an Illinois sweep because that is the pick for everybody else here as well. Next, we have Arkansas going on the road to take on the Ole Miss Rebels as they just come off a huge win at home against LSU in what was an absolute shootout. And we have a clean sweep as Srebensky and Sam are both taking Ole Miss. I'm picking them too. Arkansas has not looked great so far to start this season. It's not been probably the start that they were hoping for. And Ole Miss is riding high after that huge win over LSU. So I got Rebels getting the win at home and going to 5-1, which would be pretty huge for them considering their only loss still is Alabama. Next is Arizona on the road against USC. This will be a high-scoring affair, but I got the Trojans winning it by a considerable margin. This is just how USC plays games. They score a billion points and hope to just outscore you. They don't play defense, and well, they're not going to play defense in this one either. Arizona made it close last week against Washington. They might make it close this week too against USC, but considering it's a road game, I think USC will win pretty comfortably. That's also the pick for everybody else, unsurprisingly. So we all have USC. Next, I'm not even going to really explain why we are picking this team. I think it's pretty obvious why we're picking them, but Minnesota is an interesting team. They don't really have much offense. And they're obviously a very defensive team. The Wolverines, obviously, they're pretty nasty. It could be interesting considering it is a road game. And maybe Minnesota makes it a little interesting. Maybe Minnesota, makes it a little lower scoring, makes it a little ugly, and gives Michigan some fits. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be the Wolverines probably winning pretty comfortably, or at least winning in similar fashion to the first 4 weeks of the year, excluding the Nebraska game because we absolutely beat them down. I don't think we'll do that to Minnesota. Next, we have UCF going on the road to take on Kansas. I don't care what UCF has. You can't blow a 25-point lead at home in the fourth quarter. That's not going to win you games against anybody. In Kansas is coming off a loss last week. They need a way to, get back in the win column. This is their perfect opportunity. Srebensky also has the Jayhawks getting the win at home against the Golden Knights. Not the pick for Sam. He actually has UCF getting the win on the road against the Kansas Jayhawks. Should be an interesting game, but I still got Kansas with the win. Then next we have Rutgers on the road against Wisconsin. Camp Randall. Pick for Sam is Wisconsin. For Srbenski, I'm pretty sure it's Wisconsin as well. Yes, it is Wisconsin. He has beating Rutgers, and I do too. Wisconsin is this is a better game than I think people really think, because Rutgers is, I think, better than people really believe. Um, Rutgers is kind of similar to the likes of Nebraska and Minnesota, except I think their offense is maybe a little better than both of them, and their defense maybe is better than people let on. I think Rutgers is just better than they have been for several years. And this is really Rutgers' opportunity to get a big win and put themselves on the map. Um, I think they come up short against the Badgers, considering it's in Camp Randall. But this game will be a surprisingly close game. I think the Scarlet Knights make this one closer than people expect. Next, we have Syracuse going on the road against North Carolina. This should be also a very close game. I think the Orange will make this one interesting, but at the end of the day, Tar Heels get the win at home. This is a big game for North Carolina. Remain undefeated at number 14 now in the country. What a start to the season they have had. It'll continue for the Tar Heels. They get the dub. Also going to be the pick for Srbenski. I thought he might pick his Syracuse Orange, but not the case here. And Sam also has North Carolina with the win. Next, we have Washington State on the road taking on UCLA. Sam's pick is Washington State. He has the Cougars getting the win at home, or I'm sorry, on the road against the Bruins of UCLA. That is the same pick for Srbenski. He has Washington State with the win over UCLA, and I do as well. Mostly just because UCLA, they're a solid team, and UCLA isn't a bad team at all. But their quarterback is just a very inexperienced player. He's a true freshman. Of course, that's Dante Moore. And he has shown that he is very much a true freshman quarterback. He's already made a lot of errors to start the season. He hasn't been really all that sharp. Well, at points he has looked sharp, and at other points he hasn't looked sharp. So this is going to be a fun game for sure. I think it'll be a very close one. It'll come down to the wire, but in a game where it's going to come down to the final drive or final seconds, I give the edge to the more experienced guy in Cam Ward. So give me the Cougars in a very close win. Next is Maryland on the road against Ohio State. Higher scoring affair. Ohio State wins big. Maryland doesn't have any defense, and they'll score. I mean, they'll score. They'll probably get into like the maybe high 20s, low 30s, but Ohio State's going to score more. I mean, what the actual score will be, I have no idea, but something like 44 to, something like 44 to 27, say, or like 26. I think would be very much within the realm of possibility. Just Maryland has no defense. It's also a road game, and and the Buckeyes are just a better team than Maryland. Obviously, both of these teams are undefeated. And Maryland is good offensively, like I said, but I mean, they don't really have much else. And then next we have Srbenski's pick, which is Ohio State. And this was Sam's shocker, but he also is taking Ohio State. I mean, he obviously just went for the big points. Do I think Maryland could pull the upset? Sure, but I highly doubt they actually do. Next is Kentucky on the road against Georgia. The pick for all of us is likely going to be Georgia. I don't know for sure if that's what everybody picked. I'm pretty sure it is though. And then Yeah, that's also the pick for. Okay, yeah. So we all have Georgia over Kentucky. This is an interesting game for sure because I think this is probably Georgia's biggest, probably their biggest, uh, their their biggest game really all season long. This is their hardest competition. That's what I was looking for. Um, this is the best team that they have played. There we go. I finally figured it out. Um, but this is a Kentucky team that is okay. But Devin Leary, I think, is going to find that life in the SEC is a lot different than life in the ACC. Kentucky's team is decent, though. I mean, obviously, they look very good. Um, against Florida when they just absolutely smacked the crap out of the Gators on the ground, getting 220 yards rushing in just a quarter and a half. So I don't think they're doing that against Georgia. I think this is going to be a game where it'll be close for the majority of the game, but towards the end, that the Bulldogs will pull away and Georgia will end up winning. The score will probably not reflect how close the game actually was, but at the end of the day, it'll be Georgia who ends up getting the win. Then we got Alabama going on the road to take on Texas A&M. Mark my words, this is an upset. This is a perfect. I mean, this I'm picking Texas A&M, but I have a feeling that now that I'm picking Texas A&M, it's going to be a win for Bama. Um, thing about this game is it really does seem like this could be an easy upset because you look at Bama's offense, you look at the Alabama's team, it doesn't have any offense. Their offense has been terrible. Their offense has been brutal to start the year, and it really does look. And their offense really does look completely inept, and their offense does look pitiful. As for Texas A&M, they have a very stingy defense. Their defense has been very tight all season. I mean, the outlier obviously is that Miami Florida game, of which the Hurricanes put up 48 on them. But other than that game, the A&M defense has been sharp. It's been consistent and has been shutting down all of its opponents. And Bama's offense is not very good and is probably worse than some of the other offenses that they've played. So I think this is an ugly game. It'll be very ugly. It's not going to be a pretty one. But at Kyle Field, I think the Aggies pull off a bit of a surprise, and they get the better of Nick Saban once again. They pull the upset. Also going to be the pick here for Serbinsky. He actually agrees with me. He has Texas A&M with the upset at home at Kyle Field. Sam is taking Bama. Sam is going safe. He's got Roll Tide in Kyle Field on the road, going to 5-1. This is a huge game for Bama. If they lose this game, it could very much knock them out of playoff contention. Next, we have Notre Dame on the road against Louisville. The pick for Serbinsky is Notre Dame. He has the Irish getting the win on the road against the Cardinals, who joined the rankings this week with Kentucky as the other team that joined into the rankings. The pick for Serbinsky, I'm pretty sure, is also Notre Dame. And yes, it is. So Notre Dame, he has Notre Dame on the road as well, and that will be a clean Notre Dame sweep. Notre Dame is, I think this is going to be a similar game to last week with Notre Dame's win over Duke on the road. This is going to be a very similar game to that. I think the Irish will. It'll be an ugly game. Louisville's not going to really be able to do all that much. Maybe they get a score or two, and Notre Dame maybe wins this game. Instead of winning 21-14, maybe they win 17-9. That's sort of how I kind of expect this game to go, or maybe it ends up being like 20-10. That's kind of what I expect to see from this game. Maybe it looks a little different than last week, but that's my guess for this one. Next, we have LSU going on the road to take on the Missouri Tigers. I have LSU. I don't really know what kind of a team Missouri is yet, but I do know this: if LSU doesn't win this game, I mean their chances of going to the playoff are pretty much already out the window. It would almost take a miracle for that to ever happen. Um, and their SEC title hopes are on the ropes now with having a conference loss to Ole Miss. They have a road game against Missouri. This is going to be a very tough game for LSU. And for Missouri, this is a huge game for them because they started 5-0. They're competing with Georgia right now and Kentucky. So huge game for both of these teams. Going to be a very, very fun game to watch. But I got LSU in a very, very close win. They get a nice win on the road against Missouri, and they end the undefeated year for the Missouri Tigers. And they will become the better Tiger in this game. There's a lot of Tigers in the SEC. But LSU is also the pick for Serbenski, and also going to be the pick for Sam. We all have LSU getting the win on the road against Missouri. And now we come to the game of the week. Obviously, a huge game of the week. That being Oklahoma and Texas. The Red River rivalry. What a game this will be. And this will definitely be one to see. Obviously, must-watch television. Sam and Serbenski both have Texas. And then as for me, this is going to be really fun. This is obviously always a really good, almost always is a very good game. This is one of the best rivalries in college football. Is Oklahoma and Texas. It's very hard to get better than the Red River at the Cotton Bowl. It's always a great game. It's always fun to see. And for the past few years, it's almost always been a shootout, and it's going to be a shootout again. Oklahoma and Texas, they both have fabulous offenses. Oklahoma has been probably a little bit better than I think a lot of people have expected. And Texas, but really both of these teams, honestly, I think have been a lot better than people would have expected. I don't think people expected Texas to be as good as they have been, or for Oklahoma to be as good as they have been. So in this game, it's pretty much Clash of the Titans. And in a game which is Clash of the Titans, I give a very slight edge to the Texas Longhorns. I got Texas also in the win. This is gonna be so much fun. I really cannot wait to see this game because, like I said, Oklahoma, Texas, this game is almost always a shootout, and it's gonna be a shootout again. And I don't doubt that there's going to be a ton of points scored. Oklahoma's got a really good team. They've been very sharp, but I think Texas just has a few more weapons, and those weapons will be just enough to carry them to a very close victory. Last year was like 45-42 or something. Maybe this one's 37-34. They're always high scoring games, almost always a very close game. It's going to be a very close game again. Really want to see this one. A very, very good game. Should be lots of fun. And that's it for me. Until next time. Adios, everyone.